Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be covering Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. I'm going to break this down just like I did with the power of awareness, so that way everyone can understand exactly what Neville Goddard is saying here and what he's interpreting, how imagination creates reality and how you can create anything you want in your world, and the connection between what your feeling states are throughout the day and what you're conscious of and what you're impressing into the subconscious mind. And then the subconscious mind is expressing that into your world and actually creating your reality. So what I'm going to do is cover this and break it down completely. That way you can completely understand how to start changing your life by what you're reacting to throughout the day and what you're manifesting throughout the day and what you're falling asleep with, like the feelings you're falling asleep with, and how those things are impressing the subconscious mind and then recreating those things to come into your world. And when you can understand all of these things, which I'm going to break down for you, that way you can understand them completely, is that nothing is impossible to you. Nothing in this world that you want to attain or you want to manifest is impossible for you. And this book that I'm going to break down is going to show you exactly how this operates, how you can impress the subconscious mind, and how to go out through your day and how to react to things, how to not react to things, and then take those things into the drift from your conscious state into the subconscious state, and how that is expressed into your 3D world, and how you can manipulate your 3D world by doing this and creating the life that you only can dream of having. And at the end of this chapter, I'm going to be giving you an exercise to do based on the information that I'm going to give you from this chapter. That way you can start using this and start manifesting in your world and start seeing the real-time results of what Neville Goddard is teaching here, because I think that was the only thing that was left out of these chapters and of a lot of Neville Goddard's books, of the exercises to do to actually start performing these acts in your world and start seeing results. Because I think a lot of people read these books and they don't actually use it. They're not using it in an application. They're not actually using these in exercise and really performing and manifesting things in their world, and they just throw the book away and forget all about it a month later. You have to start doing this. So I'm going to give you an exercise at the end of this chapter to start performing these applications in your 3D world so you can start seeing those results. All right, so let's begin with chapter 1, Law and its Operation. The world and all within it is man's conditioned consciousness objectified. Consciousness is the cause as well as the substance of the entire world. And as we know, we've covered this before, the world that you're living in right now is a hologram. It's a high-tech simulated game that's being projected from within you, because you have consciousness which cannot be divided. But the dual nature of consciousness is that there's a conscious part and then there's a subconscious part, which we're going to get into much later. But the world and all within it is man's conditioned consciousness objectified. So whatever's going on within you is going to be projected outward into the screen of space. And that's right here. The consciousness is the cause as well as the substance of the entire world. So the entire world you're living in is being projected from inside of you. There is no world that is outside of you. Everything is within you. So it's being projected outwardly. Okay, so it is to consciousness that we must turn if we would discover the secret of creation. Okay, consciousness, which is within you. So you must go within yourself to discover the secret of creation, because everything is created within you and then projected out into your world. So nothing can be changed or affected by trying to manipulate your world outside. So you cannot change anything with the projection until you first change it within you. You change you from within, because that's the secret of creation. The secret of creation is not to change things on the outside without first changing them on the inside, because the world is you projected out onto the screen of space. Okay, so knowledge of the law of consciousness and the method of operating this law will enable you to accomplish all you desire in life. So once you figure this out and understand that, which I'm going to give you an exercise to help you with all this, you will understand and be able to accomplish anything that you want to do in life or anything you want to create in life. But most people, we're not taught these things in school. I mean, when we went to school, like in elementary school and high school and even college, you're not taught these things, that everything is contained within you and projected out. And that's why it's so important that we cover these topics in detail now. Okay, so armed with a working knowledge of this law, you can build and maintain an ideal world. Consciousness is the one and only reality, not figuratively, but actually. This reality may, for the sake of clarity, be likened unto a stream, which is divided into two parts, the conscious and the subconscious. In order to intelligently operate the law of consciousness, it is necessary to understand the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious. All right, so the conscious is personal and selective. The subconscious is impersonal and non-selective. The conscious is the realm of effect. The subconscious is the realm of cause. These two aspects are the male and female divisions of consciousness. The conscious is male. The subconscious is female. Okay, so during the day when you're conscious, you can be personal and selective of what you believe to be true. When you take conscious control of what you're receiving and what you see and the feelings that you're taking in throughout the day by the events that happen to you during the day. But the subconscious is non-selective and impersonal. It doesn't have the ability to understand what's true, what's false. The only thing it knows is what you're telling it from the things that you've been impressed with throughout the day, being personal and selective with your consciousness. So whatever you're consenting to be true of your world during the day, when you go to sleep at night, that's when you impress the subconscious with all of those feelings and everything that happened to you. And then those things are recreated into your world later. Like if you were to you found a new job, all these great things are happening to you during the day, and you're just going through those motions and accepting those things as being true, all these great things happening to you, and then you go to sleep at night and you impress the subconscious mind with all these great things happening, then the subconscious mind is going to feel that. And it doesn't have any way out of that. It is impersonal and non-selective. It only knows what you tell it. So then it's going to recreate really good things tomorrow to happen. And then for the next week and month, for the rest of your life, if you continue with those feeling states being personal and selective throughout the day while you're conscious. So the subconscious doesn't know anything besides the feelings that you have and the feelings that you take in throughout the day and what you impress it with, and consent to be true. Whatever you consent to be true throughout the day is what you're telling the subconscious mind, and then it's going to develop that and then create that into your following days as you go. All right, so that's the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. But Neville Goddard gets into a little more detail here as well. Okay, so the conscious generates ideas and impresses these ideas on the subconscious. The subconscious receives ideas and gives form and expression to them. By this law, first conceiving an idea and then impressing the idea conceived on the subconscious, all things evolve out of consciousness. And without this sequence, there is not anything made that is made. That is the secret. That is the way that creation happens. Everything that is the conscious to the subconscious. What you're conscious of and being selective during the day, picking your fruit, your seeds for your garden, and then going to sleep and impressing those ideas and feelings with the subconscious, and then those things are created into consciousness itself. Those things are going to evolve into your world, and that's the world that you're going to be living, whatever you're selecting, whatever seed you're selecting, and then going to sleep and impressing the subconscious mind. With that happening to you, then that's what's going to happen to you, and the subconscious mind is going to produce those results in your world. Okay, so the conscious impresses the subconscious, while the subconscious expresses all that is impressed upon it. So this is good. I like the language here. So the conscious impresses the subconscious, while the subconscious expresses all that is impressed upon it. So whatever you impress into the subconscious is going to express what you're impressing upon it into your 3D world. So the subconscious does not originate ideas. The subconscious does not originate its own ideas. It only knows what you tell it through your feelings. But it accepts as true those which the conscious mind feels to be true, and in a way known only to itself, objectifies the accepted ideas. So whatever ideas and feelings that you have and impress the subconscious mind with these things being real that are happening to you, it's going to accept those ideas and then objectify them and create them into consciousness, into your world. So you're going to see those things start happening. And it doesn't matter what they are. Whatever you consent to believe as true, whatever you can imagine, whatever you can feel is true in your world, and impress that in the subconscious mind, it's going to be created into your 3D world. And remember, this also works for negative things. So if there's bad things going on in your life and you're being emotionally charged about those negative things in your life, remember that you are impressing those bad things that are happening, those negative things, those emotions. You're impressing those things into the subconscious mind, and it's impersonal. It doesn't know the difference. So when you're telling it these things, these bad things are happening, it's like it doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know. It is not trying to help you. It's not trying to hurt you. It just knows what you're telling it through these feeling states. Then it reproduces that in your world tomorrow. So be very careful of your moods, because there's an unbroken connection between the feelings that you have and the subconscious mind and your world and what's going to be created tomorrow. So be very careful with that. Okay, so therefore, through his power to imagine, your power to imagine, and feel his freedom to choose the idea you will entertain, man has control over creation. Control of the subconscious is accomplished through control of your ideas and feelings. And this is a lot to do with the exercise I'm going to give you right here. Control of the subconscious is accomplished through control of your ideas, because this is the key here. You need to have control of the subconscious. The subconscious is creating things into your world, and you have to get this in your mind. You have to know this. You have to feel this. You have to accept this as true, because it is. Your world right now is the way that it is because of the things that you've impressed in the subconscious mind through your ideas and feelings throughout the day. And all those things are being created into your world. So if your world's the way that it is now, or is something going on you don't like, it's because something you have done. It's some emotion, some feeling that you've had and accepted to be true in your world. And now it's just being recreated every day because you're impressing that feeling, that idea of it being real to the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is then creating it for tomorrow. And it keeps recreating this over and over and over until you change it. And that's what we're doing now. And I'm going to teach you, I'm going to give you an exercise to start changing it, because this is very important. Control of the subconscious is accomplished through control of your ideas and feelings when you're in your conscious state throughout the day. So you must take control of your ideas and your feelings. What are your ideas and what are you becoming emotionally charged about throughout the day? We have to change those things, and then your world will change. You can impress the subconscious mind with anything that you want. And that's why Neville Goddard went into, visualizing before you go to sleep at night, because no matter what happened to you through the day, no matter all the bad things that you become emotionally charged about, you can change that right before you go to sleep by visualizing a different feeling state, that everything was great that happened to you all day long, and you create this vision in your mind and you feel it and you make it real. And then you live in this scene and you loop this movie that you've created about your day that didn't really happen, but you're changing it. And then you take this feeling and you become emotionally charged about these great things happening to you. You just won $1 million. You just got a new job. You just got this house. You're in this great relationship. You can run your mind through all these different scenarios and feel it. And then impress the subconscious mind as you go to sleep. Impress it, and then the subconscious mind will express that new life for you. That's how easy this is. But this is where it comes in. Control of the subconscious is accomplished through control of your ideas and feelings. And that's what we're going to cover. That's what we're going to learn how to do, is control our ideas and feelings throughout the day and before we go to sleep at night. So we're very careful about what we're impressing the subconscious mind with. Okay, so the mechanism of creation is hidden in the very depth of the subconscious, the female aspect or womb of creation. The subconscious transcends reason and is independent of induction. It contemplates a feeling as a fact, existing within itself, and on this assumption proceeds to give expression to it. The creative process begins with an idea, and its cycle runs its course as a feeling and ends in a volition to act. Okay, so this is very important. The creative process begins with an idea or a feeling, and its cycle runs its course as a feeling and it ends in a volition to act. So when you impress the subconscious mind, the subconscious mind will then express even a new version of you, because your body is also part of the subconscious. So you're impressing yourself with a new version of yourself to be expressed the following day, which will end in a volition to act intuitively. Because when you're in alignment, when you have impressed the subconscious mind with a new version of yourself or something that you want, you will then be in alignment to act. And when you're in alignment with the frequency or the vibrations or the feeling states of the thing already sought, as you already having it, then you'll be under compulsion to act and to get that thing. And it'll be like effortless at that point because you're in alignment with this new version of yourself. Okay, so ideas are impressed on the subconscious through the medium of feeling. Ideas are impressed on the subconscious through the medium of feeling. No idea can be impressed on the subconscious until it is felt. No idea can be impressed on the subconscious mind until it is felt. But once felt, be it good, bad, or indifferent, it must be expressed. So any feeling, doesn't matter if it's good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't matter. The subconscious mind is impersonal, like we just went over. It's non-selective. It doesn't know the difference. All it knows is the feelings that you have. Are they good? Are they bad? Are you impressing poverty or are you impressing prosperity or abundance? Which one is it? Because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference, whatever you're feeling. Say your day is poverty-stricken. How about change it before you go to sleep at night? Imagine something completely different. Your day was completely different. You were given this. You got a new job. You actually had all this money coming into you. The relationships are really great. You never really had all these arguments. You never really had all these problems. You create a new life before you go to sleep that day. Revise it. Create a new scene. Create a new life before you go to sleep, and then live in that moment, and then impress the subconscious mind with that new feeling state, because the subconscious mind's impersonal. It's only going to give you what it feels. What you impress it with is going to express that. And feeling is the one and only medium through which ideas are conveyed to the subconscious. So therefore, the man who does not control his feeling may easily impress the subconscious with undesirable states. By control of feeling is not meant restraint or suppression of your feeling, but rather the disciplining of self to imagine and entertain only such feeling as contributes to your happiness. So be very careful about what you're impressing, that feeling state that you're in. Neville Goddard covers this a lot. Do not go to sleep. Do not go to bed with any anger, any jealousy, any fear, any ideas of poverty, anything like this. Do not sleep. Do not impress the subconscious mind with those things. At least attempt to change them before you go to sleep at night. Create something new. Create a happy feeling. Create an entirely new day or a new feeling and a new emotion before you go to sleep. And by control of feeling is not meant restraint or suppression of your feeling. So when he says this, do not fight your thoughts. Do not fight your feelings. Just control the feelings by disciplining yourself to imagine and entertain only such feelings as contributes to your happiness. Do not fight them, because that will, if you're fighting your feelings, if you're getting upset about an upset feeling, then you're creating more upset circumstances and going to impress the subconscious mind with even more bad things to come to you in your world. So do not fight or restrain or suppress your feelings. Create new ones. Discipline yourself to imagine and entertain only such feelings that contribute to your happiness. Control of your feeling is all important to a full and happy life. Never entertain an undesirable feeling, nor think sympathetically about a wrong in any shape or form. So if you notice that your mind is going to that as you're falling asleep at night, that it's going back, 5 years or 10 years or 6 months ago where you did something you don't feel good about, you did to somebody else, do not entertain that feeling, create something new, revise it. You could even go into revision, change that scene in your mind, to whatever it was that is making you feel this way. Change that scene and recreate something new. Create it the way that you wanted it to go, something that would fulfill you, something that would show that you didn't do this wrongdoing or whatever it was. Revise that and then replay that over and over again until you take on this new feeling state of the revised scene, until you take on this completely new feeling state and emotion. And now you've moved past that. And now the subconscious mind is going to move past that and express something new for you tomorrow once you get through that with revision. And revision can be a very powerful tool for this, okay? So do not dwell on the imperfections of yourself or others. So if there's any imperfections within you, do not dwell on them as you go to sleep, especially with other people as well. Anyone that's done any harm to you, do not dwell on that as you're falling asleep with that anger. Do not fall asleep. Do not dwell on that as you're falling asleep or even throughout the day. That is not, dwelling on the imperfections of yourself or others does not do anything for you unless you're using that as fuel to grow in some way. Like sometimes I'll do that with myself. I'll be, I will dwell on some imperfections of my body, but I will put that into action, throughout the day by getting into the gym more or eating healthier. I'll start to make improvements in my life. I'm not really dwelling on the imperfections. I'm actually seeing the imperfections and improving those things. So that's something that you can use as fuel to grow and to develop yourself even further, but don't just dwell on them and then just lay there. There's nothing I can do to change that, because you can use that, dwelling on those imperfections just for a moment. But then as you make the changes, throughout the 3D world, like when I see imperfections, and there's something that I can actually change. There's a difference between the two. I'm dwelling on these imperfections, but I can change them and I'm using them to grow. So by the end of the night, I've made some improvements with that. So I'm impressing the subconscious mind with this version of myself that uses these things for growth. And then I'm growing and I'm getting better, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting healthier, I'm doing all of these things, and I'm impressing the subconscious mind with this new version or identity. And then the following day, I'm led to things like healthier foods coming in, or more opportunities to work out, or to grow even further, to make more money, to develop even further. So, but if the things that you're dwelling upon, these imperfections, are things that you can't change, like in yourself or other people, do not dwell on those things unless there's something you can do to actually get to accomplish that, to actually fix that, to repair that. If not, move on to something else, something that you can fix, something you can change. Then start growing from those things. But if it's something that you can't help or change at all, do not dwell on that at all. It's not going to help you in any which way. So don't focus your attention on those things. And it's just like what Neville Goddard says right here. To do those things is to impress the subconscious mind with those limitations. What you do not want done unto you, do not feel that it is done unto you or another. This is the whole law of a full and happy life. Everything else is commentary or automatic. Okay, so every feeling makes a subconscious impression. And unless it is counteracted by a more powerful feeling of an opposite nature, it must be expressed. Okay, so every feeling makes a subconscious impression. So whatever powerful feeling you have is going to be impressed into the subconscious unless it is counteracted by a more powerful feeling of an opposite nature. So the dominant of two feelings is the one that's going to be expressed. Neville Goddard gives some examples here that are pretty good. So if you say, I am healthy, that is a stronger feeling than I will be healthy. I am healthy now is a much stronger feeling to impress the subconscious mind than to say I will be healthy tomorrow. Or to feel I will be is to confess that you are not. So I am is stronger than I am not. Okay, so what you feel you are, always dominates what you feel you would like to be. So therefore, to be realized, the wish must be felt as a state that is rather than a state that is not. So never say, when you're affirming, never say I will be, or never say I will be this tomorrow, or I will be this next week. Always say I am this right now. So that's the feeling you want to have as you're impressing the subconscious mind is I am this right now. And that's the feeling that, impresses the subconscious mind to actually create that into your world tomorrow, is that feeling. All right, so sensation precedes manifestation and is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. Be careful of your moods and feelings, for there is an unbroken connection between your feelings and your visible world. Be careful of your moods and your feelings. There is an unbroken connection between your feelings and your visible world. Your body is an emotional filter and bears the unmistakable marks of your prevalent emotions. Emotional disturbances, especially suppressed emotions, are the causes of all disease. Suppressed emotions are the causes of all disease. To feel intensely about a wrong without voicing or expressing that feeling is the beginning of disease in both body and environment. So when you do these things, when you feel intensely about a wrong without actually expressing that feeling, it will cause disease in your environment as well as your body. Not just you, but the world that you're living in. You're causing disease in your world that you're going to be living in, not only your body. So do not entertain the feeling of regret or failure, for frustration or detachment from your objective results in disease. Do not entertain in the feelings of regret or failure. And if you're stuck on these, if you need to voice these or express these feelings, revising the scene is a very powerful way to overcome these things. Whatever this is, whatever these things that you feel intensely about, these wrongs that you did, revise the scene, change it. Change your actions, change somebody else's actions, and then replay that in your mind. And this is the equivalent to expressing something different. So then you're creating something different to be objectified in your world, because you're confirming this change with the subconscious and feeling that to be real now in your world. So now you're causing the disease to no longer exist in your environment and in your body. So to think feelingly only of the state you desire to realize, okay? Think feelingly only of the state you desire to realize. So any feelings you have. So notice that throughout the day, whatever feelings you have throughout the day when they're bad, is that the state that you desire to realize? Ask yourself that question. Is this the desired state or the life that I want to live? Do I want to feel this? Is this helping me? Is this contributing to my success or happiness? And if it isn't, then you need to change that, revise it, or start thinking of something positive, something you can change. So feeling the reality of the state sought and living and acting on that conviction is the way of all seeming miracles. All changes of expression are brought about through a change of feeling. A change of feeling is a change of destiny. All creation occurs in the domain of the subconscious. What you must acquire then is a reflective control of the operation of the subconscious, that is, control of your ideas and feelings when you're conscious. So that's how you change this. You must acquire this. A reflective control of the operation of the subconscious comes from controlling your ideas and feelings while you're awake. So you control your ideas and everything you consent to be true throughout the day. Then you're taking control of the operation of the subconscious mind and taking control of your future by changing your feelings and changing your ideas. And you can even do this. You start doing this throughout the day, start changing them and stop reacting to these negative things that are going on. And even if you do catch yourself reacting, you always have the chance before you go to sleep at night to revise those things or change that or create a new scene for tomorrow. Visualize something for next week to happen to you. Something great is happening, and fall asleep with that new feeling and controlling that idea and that feeling as you drift to sleep, impressing the subconscious mind with something completely different. All right, so chance or accident is not responsible for the things that happen to you. Chance or accident, there's no such thing as a chance or accident in your life. Those things are not responsible for the things that happen to you. Nor is predestined fate the author of your fortune or your misfortune. Your subconscious impressions determine the condition of your world. So everything that you are in total control. Nothing happens to you because of somebody else. There are no chances. There are no accidents or coincidences in your life. Everything is controlled through everything you consent to be true in your world, your feelings and ideas, everything that you are emotionally absorbed about throughout the day, and then you fall asleep with those feelings and ideas. That's what creates your world. What you fall asleep with feeling and ideas and everything you consent to be true in your world is what you are impressing into the subconscious mind. It's going to be created into your world tomorrow. So you must be selective, very, very selective, because your subconscious impressions determine the conditions of your world. The subconscious is not selective. It is impersonal and no respecter of persons. Acts 10:34, Romans 2:11. The subconscious is not concerned with the truth or falsity of your feelings. It always accepts as true that which you feel to be true. Feeling is the assent of the subconscious to the truth of that which is declared to be true. Because of this quality of the subconscious, there is nothing impossible to man. There's nothing impossible to you. Because of this connection between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, there is nothing impossible for you to create. Whatever you can consent to be true, however big, however small, if you can accomplish that, if you can retain that feeling state of something happening to you or something happening in your world and impressing the subconscious mind with that, it's going to happen. There's nothing impossible to you. So whatever the mind of man can conceive and feel is true, the subconscious can and must objectify. Your feelings create the pattern from which your world is fashioned, and a change of feeling is a change of pattern of your life. So the subconscious never fails to express that which has been impressed upon it. The moment it receives an impression, it begins to work out the ways of its expression. It accepts the feeling impressed upon it, your feeling as a fact existing within itself, and immediately sets about to produce in the outer or objective world the exact likeness of that feeling. The subconscious never alters the accepted beliefs of man. It outpictures them to the last detail, whether or not they are beneficial to you. So to impress the subconscious with the desirable state, you must assume the feeling that would be yours had you already realized your wish. In defining your objective, you must be concerned only with the objective itself. The manner of expression or the difficulties involved are not to be considered by you. To think feelingly on any state impresses it on the subconscious. Therefore, if you dwell on difficulties, barriers, or delay, the subconscious, by its very non-selective nature, accepts the feeling of difficulties and obstacles as your request and proceeds to produce them in your outer world. So this is what is meant by do not focus on how you're going to get it, how it's going to come, why it's going to come. You don't focus your attention on these things. You focus on the feeling that it is already completed. You impress the subconscious mind with the feeling. You assume the feeling that would be yours had you already realized your wish. And you don't worry about the barriers or anything that's in the way of you getting that. You don't worry about delay or how long it's going to come or the difficulties that are going to come in order to get that. You don't focus on those things, because if you do, the non-selective nature of the subconscious mind will accept that feeling of difficulty and obstacles as your request, and it'll proceed to produce more obstacles, more delays, more barriers in your outer world. The subconscious is the womb of creation. It receives the idea unto itself through the feelings of man. It never changes the idea received, but always gives it form. Hence, the subconscious outpictures the idea in the image and likeness of the feeling received. To feel a state as hopeless or impossible is to impress the subconscious with the idea of failure. So if you ever think something is hopeless or impossible, you are impressing the subconscious mind with failure, and it's going to reproduce that hopelessness or that impossibility. So be very careful of what you're impressing, because anything is possible to you. There is nothing that is hopeless. You can't attain anything by understanding what this chapter is covering here and what these secrets are. Understand this is very, very clear. Although the subconscious faithfully serves man, it must not be inferred that the relation is that of a servant to a master as it was anciently received. The ancient prophets called it the slave and the servant of man. St. Paul personified it as a woman and said the woman should be subject to man in everything. But this is symbolic, okay? So Ephesians 5:24, also Corinthians 14:34, Ephesians 5:22, Colossians 3:18, 1 Peter 3:1. The subconscious does serve man and faithfully gives form to his feelings. However, the subconscious has a distinct distaste for compulsion and responds to persuasion rather than to command. So you can't just command your subconscious to give you something, because when you're commanding it, you're telling it that you don't have it. You have to persuade it by impressing it with the feeling that you already have it. So you must persuade the subconscious mind rather than force or command the subconscious mind to do something. You can't tell the subconscious mind something. You have to trick it. You have to trick it to believe that you already have something. That's the trick here. You persuade the subconscious mind with a feeling that you already have it, that you already have something. So you're no longer you're no longer commanding the subconscious mind to give you something. You're now persuading it. You're tricking it to believe you have it already. So this resembles the beloved wife more than the servant. Okay, so the husband is head of the wife, which is symbolic. So Ephesians 5:23 may not be the true of man and woman in their earthly relationship, but it is true of the conscious and the subconscious, or the male and female aspects of consciousness, the mystery to which Paul referred when he wrote, "This is a great mystery," 5:32. "He that loveth his wife loveth himself," 5:28. "And they two shall be one flesh," chapter 5, verse 31, is simply the mystery of consciousness. Consciousness is really one and undivided, but for creation's sake, it appears to be divided into two. So the conscious or male aspect truly is the head and dominates the subconscious, or subjective, which is the female aspect. That is because when you're conscious during the day, you are accepting what is true of your world, like the feelings. You're absorbing those feelings and ideas, throughout the day. So you're taking all of those feelings, which you have control over, which is impressing into the subconscious, because the subconscious is impersonal. So it is under control by the conscious mind, which you have control over. So whatever you're feeling, you're consenting to be true. You're impressing those things into the subconscious. Then the subconscious is expressing those things into your world based on the way that you feel and the things you're consenting to be true in your world. So be very careful of this, and you are in control of these things. So remember that. You are in control of what you're accepting to be true in your world, and all the feelings and everything you're becoming emotional about. And those are the things that are recreating in your world as you go day to day. But you can change that at any time. But understand this, though. The conscious or male aspect truly is the head and dominates the subconscious, because the subconscious is impersonal and only knows what you're telling it through your feeling states. So be very conscious and control of that, of how you're operating that. Okay, so however, this leadership is not that of the tyrant, but of the lover. So by assuming the feeling that would be yours were you already in possession of your objective, the subconscious is moved to build the exact likeness of your assumption. Your desires are not subconsciously accepted until you assume the feeling of their reality. Your desires are not subconsciously accepted until you assume the feeling of the reality, of their reality. For only through the feeling is an idea subconsciously accepted, and only through this subconscious acceptance is it ever expressed through the subconscious. It is easier to ascribe your feelings to events in the world than to admit that the conditions of the world reflect your feeling. However, it is eternally true that the outside mirrors the inside. Right here, everything is within you being projected outwardly. So it is eternally true that the outside world, the 3D world, mirrors you from within. The inside of you is pushed out. The world is you pushed out. It is eternally true that the outside mirrors the inside. As within, so without. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. And right here, John chapter 3:27, a man can receive nothing. A person can receive nothing unless it is given to him from heaven. And the kingdom of heaven is within you. That's what the Bible was telling us. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Luke 17:21. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And you can receive nothing unless it is given from heaven inside of you. Okay? The kingdom of heaven is within you, and you can receive nothing unless it comes from within you. Nothing comes from without. All things come from within you. Nothing comes from without. All things come from within, from the subconscious. It is impossible for you to see other than the contents of your own consciousness. Your world in its every detail is your consciousness objectified. Objective states bear witness of subconscious impressions. A change of impression results in a change of expression. The subconscious accepts as true that which you feel as true. And because creation is the result of subconscious impressions, you, by your feeling, determine creation. You, by your feelings, determine your life, your creation, your 3D world. You are already that which you want to be. And your refusal to believe this is the only reason you do not see it. By understanding this knowledge, you are already that which you want to be right now. But once you understand this, you will now make the changes you need to see this. You will now be able to see why your world is the way that it is. But before this, your refusal to believe this is the only reason you didn't see it. But now that you understand this, now you know why your world is the way that it is. To seek on the outside for that which you do not feel you are is to seek in vain. For we never find that which we want. We only find that which we are. To seek on the outside is to seek in vain. This kind of goes back to manifesting in vain here, okay? Because you're never going to find anything that's going to be sustainable that you want in life. Because once you get it, you're no longer going to want it. Like, you're not going to feel fulfilled once you get it. You only find that which you are. And when you are connected, then you're in alignment with the thing. Once you become it and change your concept of yourself, you are now the thing being expressed into your 3D world. And you're no longer seeking in vain. You're no longer manifesting in vain. You're no longer seeking on the outside. You're looking within yourself and changing the version of yourself. Then you're in alignment with that action, with getting it, with everything coming to you. You're no longer seeking in vain. So, in short, you express and have only that which you are conscious of being or possessing. To him that hath, it is given. Matthew 13:12, 25, 29, Mark 4:25, Luke 8:18, 19, and 26. Denying the evidence of the senses and appropriating the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the way to the realization of your desire. Mastery of self-control of your thoughts and feelings is your highest achievement. However, until perfect self-control is attained, so that in spite of appearances, you feel all that you want to feel, use sleep and prayer to aid you in realizing your desired states. These are the two gateways into the subconscious. So Neville Goddard gives his idea of how to change this. This is how you can perfect your self-control. You can perfect your self-control by using sleep and prayer or meditation or doing these visualizations right before sleep. That's what he means. You're doing your visualizations. You're creating these feelings as you're drifting into your subconscious lover, like the subconscious mind. You're taking everything in and creating a new life, revising the scenes, and then falling asleep with this new feeling and pressing the subconscious mind, because that is the gateway into the subconscious, which is creating your world from within you. So the exercise that I want you to do from this is, I want you to do, just like Neville Goddard says, do this right before you go to sleep at night. So I want you to take conscious control of your imagination and your feelings as you're going to sleep, and just see where they're going, and just don't fight your feelings, don't fight your thoughts, the negative thoughts, to see where they're going. And if you see that they're negative, just try to locate where they're going and what they're thinking about. And once you notice this, once you actually realize where the thoughts are going, and you find a scene, say it happened earlier that day, where you had a conversation or an argument with somebody, or somebody did something wrong to you and you were just upset about it, or you did something wrong to them and you're still angry about it. You still want to do more, bad things in your world. Go back to that scene and change it. Revise that scene, change it, and then create something where that person's personality is completely different, or your personality, you reacted differently. Instead of doing something hateful to that person or saying something that you regret to that person, replay the scene in your mind where you say, you want to know what? You're absolutely right. I'm going to make changes within me. And what you're saying is absolutely right. You have your own point of view. I have my own point of view, but I'm going to, you're right. Absolutely. And you walk away, you create a new scene. But whatever it is that you find in your imagination that happened, that's making you upset or angry, or it's keeping that conflict in your mind, go back and revise that scene. And if you want to create prosperity in your life, you can go back to a scene earlier that day and create something amazing that happened to you. Like, for example, like if you got a job promotion, you're working at your job and you really want a promotion, but you just haven't got it yet. Imagine a scene where you actually got that promotion. Your boss comes to you, you want to know what? I'm giving you, a $10 raise an hour. You're going to go to management, or I'm promoting you to CEO, or, of lead or tech lead, or whatever it is that you're wanting, the position that you want. Recreate a scene and then fall asleep with that new feeling state. Or go to the future, go a week from now and make it now of something that you want to create in your world. But you're ultimately just creating a new feeling state of whatever that is. If you're going back and revision, changing something that's upset you, that's causing more bad things to come in your world, or you're going into the future and recreating a new scene in your future, and then create like a 20-second or a 10-second movie clip and just replay that over and over and over and over and over in your mind as you're falling asleep. Or listen to one of my meditation tracks, my sleep meditations, which create, that positive feeling, that really, really good feeling, which I'll post one up on the screen for you now, which will also help you get into that feeling state where you're going to be impressing the subconscious mind, which I've already got thousands and thousands of testimonials where my sleep meditations have created just amazing things for so many people. But I'm going to post that on the screen for you now. All right, that is the end of this chapter, and we're going to be moving to chapter 2, which is based on sleep. And I'll also be breaking this down in detail in the following days, very, very soon. All right, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to be one thing you guys are grateful for, and click on that meditation track, fall asleep with that, and create a new feeling state, and impress the subconscious mind with a new 3D world, and start creating a new future for yourself. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.